Okay, so thank you very much for being here, Anna and Gabriela. It's going to be a pleasure to listen to you and your sharing thoughts about towards the creative biomaterial making. And the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
All right, so hello everyone, and of course thank you Carla for inviting us, and thank you for all the students for being here as well. My name is Anna, and today Gabriela and I will be leading this 1-hour session with you guys. Let me just move to, yep. So before we dive into anything a little bit about us, so I am a doctoral student and a researcher at Aalto University in Finland. And I'm also a researcher at an EU-funded project called COCOON, where we're trying to integrate biodesign into creative education, which Carla is also part of. I have a background in biomaterial design, especially cellulose-based materials, and now my research is at the intersection of biomaterial design, fabrication, and sustainability learning. And Gabriela, do you want to briefly introduce yourself too?
Sure. Hello, my name is Gabriela, and I am a master's student at Aalto, originally from the US, but I am doing my master's in Finland and focusing my research on mycelium as a biomaterial and integrating that with community engagement in a community I'm from in the US, where I'm trying to help bring more awareness or open the idea of social and environmental sustainability through this material. So I'm very happy to be with you all today.
All right, so today's session is as follows. So I will first do a very brief presentation to get you into the groove or the mindset of biodesign, and then we will then have a short round of introductions just to get to know you a little bit more. And then Gabriela will do a presentation on her work. In the latter half hour, we will do a little activity with mycelium, where you'll be basically moving around in the room and doing some worksheets. But without further ado, I'm jumping into my first short 10-minute presentation, which is supposed to be kind of like a food for thought, but also to kind of introduce my work a little bit as well. So when we talk about biomaterials, we often talk about the end result, like mycelium furniture or food waste textiles or eggshell ceramics. And we may categorize them into where the possible applications are. So is it in fashion design, is it in product design, or is it in architecture, for example? But today I'm going to take a slightly different designer's point of view and focus on the different processes towards biomaterial design and trying to open up the fact that biomaterials are not just about functions or aesthetics or scalability, but also allows for exploration of different approaches and processes for designers and towards more opportunities also in design education as well. So one of these processes I call solution-driven, the second one I call material-driven, and the third one is organism-driven. And of course, there's so much more than these depending on how people work, depending on your design style, but I will give examples for each of them from my own previous projects. So the solution-driven one starts with a problem and a question. And my example comes from a project that I collaborated with chemical engineers. And we started with a very simple problem, which was the individual plastic packaging on cucumbers that we often have in Finland and some other parts of Europe as well. Which are shrink wrapped, which means it uses a lot of energy in the packaging process. And it's also plastic, which is non-biodegradable. But we also knew that this packaging prolongs the shelf lives of the cucumbers, and so it reduces the amount that goes into waste. So we had a question, an idea, which was, what if we could package the cucumbers in a dippable bio-based solution that dries into a thin protective film that could be peeled off and just thrown into the bio-waste? And we had this concept, but we had no absolutely idea of how to make this product happen. So first, we started outlining the properties we needed to achieve with this film to find the suitable material. So for example, it should be liquid, but then when it's in contact with air, it should solidify into some kind of a film. It also has to have certain strength, oxygen permeability, of course, it has to be food safe and non-toxic and biodegradable as well. And we also wanted the film to be somewhat transparent so that the consumers can also see what they're buying. And so all of these criteria narrowed down some of the bio ingredients that we could use. And after a lot of laboratory experiments, in the end, we chose agar as the base with cellulose components, which enhances the property for keeping the freshness of the cucumbers. And so in brief, this can be described as more like a solution-driven approach, where we identify a problem and then imagine a solution, and then experiment to see what biomaterials and their treatments might be suitable. And the second one is the material-driven approach. So an example of this is the soy project, where I collaborated with another designer. And so we started with soy hulls, which is the skin around soybeans, which is also a waste product from the soy industry, but not much material research has been done with it. So we wanted to see, first of all, whether this can become a useful material for us, and second of all, what kind of properties this material may have. And so we started off by treating the soy hulls with as many processes that we could carry out in the lab. So that included boiling or grinding into powder, or trying to extract pectin, or using a small machine to make microfibrillated cellulose, which is almost like a cellulose gel that you could get out of these. And after a few weeks of experimenting and trying out different combinations, we found out that we could successfully achieve a versatile properties, including this very nice cork-like material and leather-like material. And to showcase the properties of this new biomaterial, we prototyped children's footwear. So notice here that the material-driven approach, we didn't set out to make sandals in the beginning. We didn't know what the outcome we would have, but through exploration of the material properties and through handling and experimentation, we ideated what might be possible with the material and conceptualized an idea from there. And the third is the organism-driven one, which I am currently working with. So we are growing bacterial cellulose, also known as SCOBY, in our lab. It is often also known to be a byproduct of kombucha drink. And if you're not familiar with it, it's a fermentation process where the sugar, tea, and the bacterial culture grows and thickens over time into a jelly-like surface. And when you harvest it and dries it, it feels and looks almost like leather. But unlike working with agar or plant cellulose or soy, like in my other previous examples, working with microbes and organisms is unpredictable, and it operates on a very different temporality. So in my previous examples, I was in the lab making different iterations and with quick turnarounds. And if something goes wrong, I can make a new mixture in a few minutes to test it out if it actually works or to improve the recipe. But with an organism, you can't experiment with a material in a few hours, but instead you have to wait for weeks for it to grow because it is alive. It is an organism. And alive means that you have to take care of it, you have to maintain it, and also to avoid unwanted contamination as well. And also because it's an organism, it doesn't produce the same perfect, identical material every single time. So a lot of the agency is also on the organism. So I would rather say not making a biomaterial, but I'm rather encouraging the material to be in a certain way by changing, for example, the temperature or the amount of food or the humidity levels, or even the size of the container that it grows in. So in this case, you really have to be responsive to the material or the organism that you're working with. And I'm describing all these processes because I want to share that they're not only different materials in biomaterial design, but different ways in which you can approach them. And each process enables different kinds of exploration and invites different interested parties as well. So for my case, the collaborations and interests came from different spheres for each of the projects. So the cucumber packaging project was in collaboration with chemical engineers and attracted a lot of attention from other companies and investors. And the soy project was in collaboration with another designer, and it was featured in material banks and design festivals. And then the microbial organism-driven project is ongoing with other researchers, which continues to start a lot of conversations with interested biologists and makers and also public organizations. And as potential maybe future biodesigners, if any of you are interested, I'd like everyone to keep in mind that as designers, we're not only here to produce new kinds of innovations or the next new shiny sustainable thing, but we're also here to cultivate and foster spaces where people can engage in new kinds of thinking and new kinds of making. And I think that there's a lot to learn from the process itself of biodesigning, which I believe that should also be accessible to people outside of the design community and not just contained within research or institutional settings. So yeah, that's a little bit about me, a little bit from me, just to introduce you to get you into the mindset of biodesign. But if you have any questions, even after this session, you're more than free to contact me at any time. And here's some of the resources that you can also check out if you're interested. But now I will hand over to Gabriela.
Thanks, Anna. So we wanted to do a round of just introducing yourselves. I will give a presentation after that, and then we'll have you all move around the room. So it'd be nice to just hear your names. And I think you're all design students, but maybe something you're interested in within design would be nice to hear. And you're all on mute, and I know it's a big ask in a room, but if someone could start for us.
Oh, I think you guys are on mute, so
Oh,
I can't
you're
hear
on.
you.
Whoops.
Oh, thank you.
Já posso? Hello, I'm Leonor, and I'm a design student of the third year. Para continuar? Hã? Oh. Everything.
Yeah, she's interested in everything.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ruben. I'm also in the third year studying design here in ISMAT. I prefer working with product design, industrial design, because I also do a lot of illustration. So it's something that I like. But I'm also taking in interest biodesign. We had last semester with Professor Carla, and it was something really interesting to work. So I'm looking forward to the rest of this conversation.
Hi, my name is Diogo. My interest is more on motion design, animation, and illustration.
Hello, I'm Emilia. I'm in the third year too, and I'm interested in ceramics, the material design, and yes.
Para Pedro.
Hi, my name is Pedro. I like branding and prestigious design service design, service design, and a little bit of bio design.
My name is Dora. I'm also on my third year of communication design. I'm interested in editorial design, handcrafted materials regarding textiles primarily, and motion design also.
Okay, do you guys both want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name is Miguel. My area is product design, although I do some fashion design, and in that area, I began to take some knowledge about biodesign with the professor that we had in our faculty in Lisbon. And it's begun to be, for me, very interesting thing to know more about. So, still ongoing.
I'm Gabriel. Emma already knows me from Finland, from COCOON project. I'm one of the researchers working from the beginning in the COCOON project, from the ideation of the project. So it's for interest. I'm doing several things. I have a PhD in national design policies, and I'm currently the guy who teaches the theoretical disciplines at ISMAT. So I'm running around theory and trying to make sense of everything that we're doing here. As you have observed, although our course is a communication design course, several of our students have an interest in product design and industrial design. And I think it's curious about our course that we are trying to be more holistic, not only talking about communication design or visual design.
Yeah.
And hello, my name is Mariana, and I like graphic design.
Okay,
Amazing. Oh,
great.
do we have more?
Gabriela, no, the floor is yours.
Okay. Wow, it's so nice to see. It's like such a diverse array of designers. So happy to have you all here. Thanks for coming. I will share my screen. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Okay. So as I had said before, is everything okay? Okay. I was just going to introduce you a little bit to mycelium as a biomaterial and what some of my research has looked like. So what is mycelium? It may come as a surprise, but you might associate mycelium with the plant structure, but it actually, as it survives in the natural world, but the DNA structure of mycelium is actually closer to that of animals. And fungi are in a kingdom all of their own. Mycelium is the root-like structure of fungi. So it's primarily it's an underground rhizomatic network. So it grows in like a kind of how you can see in the shape, it grows in these kind of thick layers, and we call it hyphae, which are kind of that root-like structure that you see in this image. Mycelium generally works as a communicator and shares nutrients amongst trees and plants, and it's like an environmental sensor underground. To relate it to the body, it's similar to our body in that we have fascia, which connects our muscles and our ligaments together, and it grows in the same way that it's kind of a binder for environments. And the way we use it as a biomaterial is we have to use a substrate. So, oops, this was the slide I meant to show you. So the kind of with the trees on the left is this like underground kind of network that it creates. And then in the body, the fascia kind of moves through the whole body, and you can feel a connection when you move your neck, maybe to your hand or something. And that's kind of the similarity with mycelium. So this video should work, but it might not, and I hope that it does. But this is a substrate, which is what the mycelium eats so that it can grow. When we're making mycelium composites, like on the table in the middle, you can choose a substrate based on what you want to design or what is available to you. Going back to what Anna was saying about it being material driven, or what your reason for designing with mycelium might be. In my case, I'm designing with mycelium materials for a place, and that it's place-based design. And I'm working with the side stream waste of what's called wild rice in the US, which is a indigenous food. And this is the husk, similar to how Anna was also talking about the soy has a husk, the rice has like a film over it as well, and it's a side stream waste there. So here I'm mixing the wild rice husk with some birch sawdust and some gypsum. And then you add water to it, and then that's how the things that the mycelium needs in order to grow. And here is some of my prototyping. So this wild rice husk has never been used before to grow mycelium and to grow mycelium composites. So I tried with, it wasn't 100%, but it was 85% wild rice, 60% and 30%. And in the second photo, you can see this is just after 3 days that it starts to grow on the wild rice. And we didn't know if it was going to work, but there's a little bit of growth. And the things while you're growing it that matter are temperature, water, the basic needs that humans often need also. So I added a heat mat and I have a DIY setup here at Alto. And by just changing the temperature by 2 degrees, this material started to grow a lot faster when I added a new heat mat to it. So this is the initial results after, I think it was 8 days. Yeah, on March 27th. So I had some really strong and healthy growth. Here you can see there was a little bit of mold in the middle picture. There's some black dots because that's something else when it comes to an organism is if you feed it too much of something, it might get, there might be something else that influences it. And this I think got too wet from the very beginning, but the other examples worked really, really well. And as I started to take it apart to put it into the mold in the third photo, I realized how strong the material actually was because the wild rice husk is so fine that as you're trying to break it apart, it took me almost 40 minutes to fill this mold after it had grown solid like in the first photo. So the hope with that realization or observation is that it will be very strong as a material as it grows again. So yeah, this was those 2 options. And then I left it for a little longer to grow. And these were the first 2, either to use it as soundproofing or insulation in the facility of the community I'm working with in the US. The one on the left, that's more brown, is the 85% wild rice. And the one on the right is 30%. And you can see a massive difference in the white shows, the white on the right side is shows a lot more mycelial growth than the way that you probably see it as the examples in the middle of the table. But on the left had the exact same amount of time, is also very strong, but looks completely different. So even though these samples had the exact same circumstances, other than what the food was, they're very, very similar. But they have a lot of differences. So that's just one thing that I'm dealing with. Oh, and the 60% one actually blew away in a winter storm. So that's why you don't see that one shown here. Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Can't you grow the mycelium straight from the mold?
From the mold, like the shape or the mold that was growing on the sample?
Shape, mold as a shape.
Yeah, so that was you can put it straight in, but the way that I do it is I take from petri dish to oat grain, and then from oat grain to substrate. And I could put it straight into the mold if I wanted to, but it just this way I have a little bit more control over it when I have it as a substrate because it in the bag before I take it apart and put it in the mold. To make sure that it's actually going to work is one thing, and it's access to materials outside of that. So I didn't have what I needed.
It keeps growing after you put it in the mold or not?
Yep, it keeps growing after you put it in the mold. So when it's in its first form, it's starting to eat the mycelium. And even though you break it apart, it finds its way to keep growing and eating what's available to it. Yeah. I was gonna say something else about that, but I guess these are the first samples. And like I said, the other one blew away in the winter storm, but I'm trying again with another set of samples right now that are in the lab, and we'll see what happens. from there, I just wanted to chat to you about something that I'm considering in the thesis and that will apply to the worksheets that you have, which is material-driven design. And Dr. Alvin Karana from TU Delft coined this term. And it's pretty much a material-driven design. You start with the material at hand and explore its design potentials by incorporating technical and experiential elements to understand the material as a part of the design process. So here we think about what you feel, what you can do with it. And in Helsinki, I'm hosting workshops where we're doing a DIY version in these totes that you turn upside down. They're called still air boxes, so that people can, I grow the substrate and then I give it to them and they can create a mold out of cardboard. And then they fill those molds and grow their own pieces. And then the worksheet you're doing today, unfortunately, we couldn't do this activity where you're growing your own items, but we're doing the second part of it where you can look at the things and you can see how you would place it on that sensorial analysis. So with that, it looks like we're on time here. With the worksheet that you all have in front of you, it will explain what to do, but essentially we're going to ask you to go into the center of the room, look at the mycelium materials, and then you'll use that analysis, the sheets you have, to experience the material. So the words are up to your interpretation. Resistance or temperature might mean something different to you, to each of you. So maybe make a note underneath of why you chose what you chose on the scale. And we'll give you about 10 minutes to get up, look at those samples, and choose what you think. But does anyone have any other questions?
Yes. Yeah, they're asking if they have to taste this.
If they what?
If they have to taste it.
Oh, no, you don't have to taste it.
You should just imagine what it might taste like.
Yeah, imagine what it might taste
It's
like.
a fun one that we just threw in.
Well, I think
You threw in there.
Okay, yeah. So maybe you can sharing the screen so we can all look at the camera here. Is it possible?
Sorry, I think were you speaking to me, Carla?
Yeah, Gabriela, can you stop sharing your screen?
Oh, yeah, I can stop sharing my screen.
Look at it. Yeah. Yeah. So now you can go around to answer your question. Estás a ver como podes enviar e temos um programa de listen to it? Because I think that you're going to speak in Portuguese. Is it a problem? Let me try. Okay, sorry, guys.
Pedro.
You hear me now?
Pedro,
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah? Do you want to listen to them as well?
Vamos estar aqui várias cenas.
Or should I take the microphone?
It's fine if people want to just walk around. If they want to walk around and look at the items and just chat amongst themselves, we can give them 10 minutes to do that. And then we can come back and talk to each other about each of the sections.
Oh,
Depois tinha
Gabriel, are you Portuguese or are you Brazilian?
Brazilian.
Brazilian, okay. He's also
Yeah.
Brazilian.
Yeah. Farias era um nome mais brasileiro que português.
Podia, não é?
Yeah, that generally is the question. And I know that I'm one of like a million Gabriela Fariases in the world.
I need to cut the sound, otherwise it makes feedback. Okay, sorry.
Ah. Oh no, it's okay. I was just saying my name where I'm from, nobody has that name, but then the minute I end up in a Portuguese community, it's like everybody knows 10 Gabriela Farias. Oh, you're on mute. You're on...
We can't hear you.
They're on mute. You're on
Yeah,
mute.
we can't hear you.
We'll give you all about 3 more minutes. It looks like everyone's starting to maybe finish up. Do you need a little more time? Y'all are on mute, but let us know if you need an extra minute or two.
Sorry, yes, we need just a little more.
Pois faz ver que
Okay?
estou aqui contigo.
Okay,
And I'm asking them to take pictures of the answers, so you can have it right away, all right?
sure, thank you.
I don't have your WhatsApp, Gabriela, but I'll send it to Anna, okay? And then she send it to you.
I can forward it to you.
Entre,
Almost there.
Trying to
One more minute, or two, or three.
How's it going?
Yeah, we just finishing. Come on, Pedro. Your turn.
Vão olhar para mim e dizer, poxa, não sabes isso. Estás com ninguém pode dizer.
Yes.
Em português pode dizer, em inglês. Só não tem microfone.
Okay.
Então
Yeah.
mandamos para o seminário, né?
All right.
Okay. Okay. So I am curious to hear about the discussion on as you were looking at everything, but I thought we could start with the first one, and then ideally the way we had this set up in our ideating for it was that you would stand up in a line and you would arrange yourselves in the line according to where you found yourselves on the line of resistance. So at one end in the line, as you're standing, you would, for the people who are closer to hard, would be there, and you would work your way towards soft. But will that work in that space, do we think?
Yeah. Yeah. Tô entendendo o que quer fazer? Ou seja, é para ir aí atrás e se alinharem.
Deixa eu só mandar.
Okay, just you have to stop sharing the screen so you can look at them.
Okay.
Vão lá e ficam lá. O hard is this way.
Não, ficou.
Da lá, de lá. Hard is Dora's way and Amiga is soft. What do you Yeah.
There is.
So hard is and soft is there. So imagine that the table is a scale, all right?
This is soft.
This is soft. This is hard. Oh, come on, you have to stand up, Pedro.
Pode ir para daquela bem para cadeira? Porque eu não estou no meu estilo correto.
Okay, so you're all kind of are you closer to hard where you're standing? Hard to the middle?
Dora. Okay, got it. Dora is soft. And Inês is hard. Emilia, sorry.
Okay. So, well, this is interesting. You're actually in like you're not too overlapped as I would have expected. So I guess I was curious if anyone, what you're comparing it to in order to decide that it's soft. Or what?
Hard?
Sorry.
Or hard?
Or hard, yeah. And yeah, do you have, what you're kind of making your decision based on?
Yeah.
Okay. Eu vou ilustrar.
Okay. She's going to show.
Temos que mostrar.
Yeah.
Onde é que está a câmera?
Here.
Hi. I choose the like soft because, as you can see, when I scrape it, it comes out, the pieces come out. So it's not hard. If it were hard, it would be resistant when I try to scrape it. Since it falls off like very easily, pieces of it, I chose to put in soft material.
So can you explain the hard one?
Yeah. In comparison to, both of these ones are really harder than the one that I chose to work with. So I'm not trying to.
No, don't bring.
No, I will not. Okay, but it's really hard in comparison. So, yeah, that's why.
Okay.
So it depended on the sample that you chose. So the people towards the hard side maybe chose the hard samples, and the people towards the soft side chose more of the crumbly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, yes.
Yeah. So the next one, can we rearrange it?
Yeah, the next category.
What is
Yeah,
the
the next category is temperature. So from cool to warm.
Cool to warm.
From cold to warm.
I love it. Okay, there we go. Now there's a lot of overlap. Okay, who wants to represent the scale to let us know why you chose what I imagine is the middle? if we're talking about the two ends?
Yeah.
Agora eu tô falando do que ele tá aqui muito importante.
E aí, quem que vem explicar?
Alguém se inseriu.
Tá. Rubem? Why is it in the middle?
Because in the middle is the.
I think that it is.
The reason why I think it's in the middle, it's because when we touch it, it's not like hot or cold. It's just like in the
Room temperature.
And I think it's basically,
Kind of natural, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Good explanation.
Yeah.
Okay.
The next is quiet or loud. What? Quiet or loud?
Quiet or loud?
Quem é que meteu no meio? Onde é que está o meio? Eu não sei. O meio é onde está o meio é a mochila?
Então agora é bonito para ali.
Okay.
É muito? Não, era só um bocadinho.
Agora, which one is you?
Loud. Loud? Logo a cavaquinha, né? Muito, quer dizer.
Okay, so that's loud.
Mm.
And media is
Quiet.
quiet.
Less than
Yeah.
five. A little bit more.
Less than quiet.
Because it makes noise, but not that much noise.
Okay. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was, you determined it by like hitting on it and like, did anybody yell at it?
How it absorbs the sound?
Sorry?
You wanted to know if how it absorbs the sound? No.
Well, that was part of the interpretation, was I was curious if you were hitting on it to see the sound that it made, or if you would, if you were curious if it, yeah, if it absorbs sound. But it sounds like you were hitting on it and seeing like from that. And once again, was it different samples?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm.
Um,
The next
Cool.
one is smooth and rough. So it's texture, smooth and rough.
It's move and rough.
Quem é que está no meio? Alguém ficou no meio.
Okay,
Leaves with the key.
so Leonor is in the middle, okay, and you are Ruth, and they are kind of moving to Ruth.
you're closer to smooth right
No,
Smooth.
Rough.
it's move is empty.
I think most of them are in the rough.
now? Rough zone.
Yeah,
From the middle to the maximum roughness.
yeah.
Okay.
Why?
Why? Yeah, why?
By
Yeah.
scratching it? Yeah, by scratching it and
Mm.
touching and feeling.
Mm.
The sound.
What,
Yeah.
what does this material remind you of? What is it similar to?
Cork, sawdust.
Or?
What? Yes, no?
Palha?
Straw.
Straw.
Yeah.
Straw.
Oh, straw. Ah, yeah. All right, the next one. Smell. Smells good. No smell. Smells bad.
Biche.
Isto é um círculo, tem que fazer um círculo.
Não, just smell like this.
Smell.
Smell.
Isto é o que está no meio.
Tá. Okay, so Leonor, the green one is in the middle, okay?
Mhm.
It smells good or bad?
Good.
Good. Okay.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, once again, why?
And why?
It reminds me of wood, cork, I don't know, organic.
Mhm.
Any other opinions on why it smells good?
For me, it doesn't smell like anything good and not anything bad, so.
Okay, neutral.
Yeah. The only one that it smells bad is the one in the jar because it's still humid, not humid, it's kind of alive. All right.
Ah,
And it has been closed for a while, so.
ah,
Yeah,
okay.
say that it smells like alcohol,
Ah.
Okay,
so not bad,
renting.
maybe bad.
Maybe good.
Alcohol instrumentation.
It's because of the fermentation,
Mm,
Ah, okay.
it's still alive,
Mhm.
so
mm.
I had to take it off.
Okay, and the last one is taste, and I saw a lot of you fake biting into it. So I'm curious, what was the decision? I know we can't do a line so much on this one.
I think you can
Taste.
taste. Does it good or bad or neutral?
I think
It's about the stick.
yeah, it's like fruit salty. It's neutral. Yeah, neutral. It tastes like
Neutral.
sawdust, but sawdust. It's like a little resemblance to sawdust, but I don't consider it any of those points that you have here. So I put it right in the middle of the circle.
Mm.
Ah. Anyone else? Are you all in the middle?
Yes.
Yeah,
Ah.
and they really taste it.
Yeah.
So this is,
Liked it.
yeah, you swallow it and everything.
Wow, okay. Okay, great. Well, now that we've done these, did you take a look at the last questions about as a designer, what would you make with the material? If you drew your designs and how you considered the aliveness of it. As I talked about, like it takes a little bit of time to grow and it has a lot of factors. And as Anna spoke about it being an organism, like it needs some encouragement. So what were some of your ideas or your responses?
Sim, eu poderia
O desenho. Sim, mas podem vir aqui e mostrar. Mostra a folha e they're going to come and present the drawings, okay? That they have.
Amazing.
Cool.
Ok, então vocês vêm aqui e cada uma apresenta o seu. Ok, entendeu? Ok?
So,
Não, close to the camera.
so I said that reminds me of straw, so I did like in Portugal, we have a lot of straw chairs, so I did that.
Ah, cool.
Really cool.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
I think that it could be used as like a sample layer between the walls in the house.
Mm.
And I
Yeah.
also put here shoe soles. And, I don't know if it can be used as like short-term packaging, like to substitute for styrofoam. Maybe.
Yeah.
There is. It reminds me a little bit of. Como é que se diz isso? Cork. So here I put like the billboard, like those little boards where we hold pictures.
Ah, yeah.
Here we could use that. I don't really know. And here I put the decoration. But I have a question, is like, is it possible to make a mold, for example, like this with like a hole in the middle, maybe coming up?
Yeah, you just have to consider how you would remove it from the mold. But that would be something you would consider when you're making the mold.
Yeah.
But yeah,
You might
definitely.
have 2 parts and then you might be able to disassemble it.
Yeah, you could do 2 parts and then it would grow back together in the center. Like I've had some molds that they started to break, but you put it back in to incubate and then it heals itself. It grows to fix the crack.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I thought in a way that I could use one mold to do 2 items. One is a seed starter kit and another is a sound isolation panel. So it will have a smaller here, this part, where you could break it to then plant the seeds in the ground. Or it could be used as a sun panel. That's it.
That's funny because we just were talking about doing one of those seed starter baskets like that. So same page.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next.
Okay, so
Opcional.
I drew like a starting seed kit to put when the little seeds try to grow before you plant them in the vase. So this one here material is a soundproofing material. This here would be like a egg carrier, you know. Instead of carton, we would use mycelium, and here cork for the bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here the styrofoam substitute, and here those guide helpers to when the trees need a little help to stay vertical. And you attach them to some kind of material, we could use that like a pole, yeah.
Yeah, I've never heard of that actually. That's a really good idea.
That's a great idea.
Okay, that's it.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so not different, but I think it could be used as a heat isolator or sound. Sneaker sole as well, or maybe pockets and wallets, and use it like a materials. You can adapt to the shape.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Okay, that's it.
That's everyone. Wow, amazing. Great ideas. And for the last one, I just wanted, they are working on some mycelium leather. So that might be worth with your wallet idea, looking at, but yeah, incredible ideas. I love seeing what you all thought of, and very innovative and thoughtful in your responses. So this was really great. Do you have other questions, or after doing this activity, or Anna, do you have other questions?
No, unless anyone else has any questions. If anything pops into your mind later on, we're always here. Carla has our email as well. So if you have any specific questions, specific, I don't know, references that you would like to look for, or any ideas that you already have with mycelium or other organisms that you might want to work with, or bacteria or cellulose-based stuff, we're always here to help. So.
Okay, I just want to add something that this group has worked with me in biomaterial development last semester, but we were talking about food waste and working with gelatin, and almost the thing that they did went to bioceramics and bioplastic. Okay. None of them have ever worked with mycelium, so this is the really fresh enough for them, okay? Because we have a partner here that has it, but I'm not comfortable in the growing things yet, okay? But I will. I'll promise you guys that I will.
There wasn't a facility at Alto to do this either, but you can set up, I ended up taking over a small kitchen space and got a tent, like what you would also grow seed starters in, or any sort of like a small greenhouse kind of setup with a fan and a heat mat. And so there's a lot of DIY examples of it too, and easy to get it started. Easier than I expected. It takes time, but it happens. Yeah.
Cocoon, I have just received my kit, and on Friday when I'm back home, I'll be starting this, restarting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be good to know the progress as well.
Yeah, it will.
Yeah.
Look forward to mushrooms, not the thing itself.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Okay. So guys, do you have anything else? Or because it's amazing. I want to thank you all.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for participating.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Sorry,